Okay, so today we're going to take a deep dive into the future of the aerospace industry.
Looking at where things are headed based on some really interesting trends and projections.
Yeah, and the big picture here, expansion.
Huge expansion,
Yeah.
like more than double the market size over the next 10 years kind of expansion.
That's pretty wild. From what to what, though? To get specific.
Right now, it's sitting at about $373.61 billion. That's 2024. By 2034, though, $791.78 billion. I mean, that's just 10 years.
Wow. So it's not just steady growth, it's actually speeding up in the near future, too.
Absolutely. We're looking at close to a $20 billion jump just between this year and next. And that's driven by some pretty powerful forces.
Okay, so let's get into the why. What's actually pushing this industry forward so fast?
Well, first off, you've got the constant demand for air travel, especially in areas with a lot of growth, like India.
Yeah, I was reading about that. Their airline sector's been booming.
Over 15% growth every year. And that obviously means they need more planes, which fuels the whole aerospace industry.
Makes sense. But it's not just passenger travel, right? Defense spending is a big factor, too.
Unfortunately, yeah. With everything going on geopolitically, countries are putting more and more money into defense. And a lot of that flows into the aerospace sector, of course.
And then on top of all that, we've got technology advancing at an insane pace.
Right. AI, new materials, all sorts of stuff that's opening up new possibilities for aircraft and space travel.
Like Airbus, for example. They're ramping up production like crazy. It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
For sure. In 2022, they delivered 661 planes. By 2035, they're aiming for over 2,400. That's just huge.
It really shows how much confidence they have in the future of this market.
It does. And while the big names, Airbus, Boeing, they're the dominant players, the growth is happening all over the world.
Right. It's not just one region driving everything.
Nope. North America is the biggest right now, and it's predicted to grow the fastest. But Asia Pacific, with India playing a big role there, is also seeing huge gains. Europe's steady, Middle East is competitive, even Africa and Latin America are starting to emerge as potential markets.
So we've got this massive growth, but it's not just more of the same, right? The industry is going through some major changes as well, like sustainable aviation, that's a big one.
It is SAFs, sustainable aviation fuels. They have the potential to reduce emissions by something like 80% over their life cycle. If we can get that right, it's a game changer.
Yeah, that's a big if. And the technology is still developing. But electric aircraft, those are starting to become more practical, especially for shorter flights.
For sure. Norway actually wants to have an all-electric short-haul fleet by 2040. That's pretty ambitious.
It is, but then if you look even further out, hydrogen propulsion is also on the horizon.
Yeah. Airbus wants to have a commercial hydrogen-powered jet by 2035. It's kind of crazy how fast this stuff is moving.
And it's not just the fuel, it's the materials too, right? Lighter planes mean better fuel efficiency.
Absolutely. Like carbon fiber reinforced polymers, CFRPs. Those things are way stronger and lighter than aluminum, so they can make a big difference.
And then there's the whole autonomous systems thing. Drones becoming more and more capable.
Yeah, and propulsion technology is getting wild too. We might even see supersonic, maybe even hypersonic travel making a comeback.
Which would be insane. And then there's the whole issue of how we manage all this air traffic, which is getting more and more complicated.
Yeah, it's not just planes anymore. We're moving towards more advanced satellite-based systems using AI to figure out the best routes. And then you've got to integrate drones safely, which is a whole other challenge with UTM, unmanned traffic management systems.
That's a lot to figure out. And then beyond all that, you've got the whole new space race happening.
Which is really interesting because it's kind of two-sided. You've got the government-led missions, the scientific stuff like the lunar landings and the upcoming missions to asteroids and, exploring the cosmos.
Right. And those are cool. But at the same time, you've got this whole commercial space tourism thing that's taking off.
Yeah. And that's projected to be a $4 billion industry by 2030. We're even starting to see the first steps towards in-space manufacturing, which is pretty mind-blowing.
It is. And we can't forget about the defense side of things either.
Right. Military drones are becoming a bigger and bigger deal. That market's expected to hit $25.6 billion in the next decade.
And then there's hypersonic weapons and the whole race to develop countermeasures for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, that stuff's being driven by the current global situation. It's not all positive, but it's definitely shaping the industry.
So a lot of exciting stuff happening, but it's not all smooth sailing, right? There are some serious challenges the industry has to overcome.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Like the supply chain's a big one. With the lead times we're seeing now, that's a real concern. And then there's the talent shortage. The industry's having trouble finding enough skilled people.
And even though things are moving in the right direction, the shift towards net zero emissions isn't happening fast enough.
Yeah, that's a big one. And fuel costs keep going up, which puts a lot of pressure on airlines. Plus, the whole regulatory landscape is having trouble keeping up with all these rapid changes.
So a lot to figure out, but still, the opportunities here are just massive. The commercial space sector, sustainable aviation, autonomous systems, it's all really exciting stuff.
It really is. And when you look at all these trends coming together, the push for sustainability, the crazy advancements in technology, the whole expansion into space, it really feels like a fundamental shift.
Yeah, it's not just about getting from point A to point B anymore.
Right. It's a whole new era.
So next time you're looking up at the sky, just think about all the incredible innovation that's happening up there. Maybe it's sustainable flight, or maybe it's the idea of commercial space travel, but there's so much to learn about and to be excited about.
And it affects us all, even down here on the ground.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.